Dragon Age Origins is a epic dark fantasy. It is a game that puts you in the role of a Grey Warden, one of the really last defenders on a line against what's known as the Blight. Evil darkspawn surge up from underground. This happens, centuries apart, but when they come in an unstoppable horde. And really, you take on the mantle of one of the defenders that has to stop these things by really gathering your forces, forging an army, and ultimately defeating an archdemon. There's more blood, there's more death, there's more consequence to the kind of thing you're doing. And really, we're just not, willing to pull any punches. We're willing to throw you in situations that leave you going, God, I don't know who the bad guy is here, but I know who I'm leaning towards helping or who I'm going to support. To my mind, that kind of challenging level of morality and grayness is really a big part of what makes a dark fantasy, as opposed to high fantasy, where I think the line is more clear. What we're going to do instead is throw you really reactive responses to the kind of choices you made. So you do something earlier in the game, later in the game, it comes back to haunt you. Now, that's not really morality so much as the game just paying attention to how you as a player choose to play it. When you get to the end, really, the army you've forged is your army. It becomes kind of your game and your campaign. But we don't want to have an arbitrary good and evil, a sense of what's right and what's wrong. I think one of the strengths of Dragon Age's story is that we have villains that you understand. You totally see where they're coming from. I mean, certainly we have an archdemon, and he's not coming from anywhere except kicking your ass. But for the most part, it's like very human, very intriguing cast in that sense. So just arbitrarily saying what's good and evil, we didn't think it would actually help the IP.
My lords and ladies, following these Grey Wardens has cost us our country.
In terms of big endings, you can expect a pretty wide selection, but in terms of like the total permutations of endings, almost every choice you make in the game is reflected in one way or another. It's hundreds of possible little variations on the way the game closes. The Litany of Andrala, which we showed off today, is part of a puzzle fight against Uldred, the kind of corrupt demon abomination at the top of the tower. With the Litany, you're able to actually stop him from possessing further mages, and he's essentially bringing in reinforcements by twisting them, corrupting them. He's kind of got his tendrils already in their head when you encounter him. So using the Litany is part of the maintenance of that fight. Like, I need to always be aware of the tactics, the situation around. And to my mind, that's a big part of why we're giving you so much control over the camera, your characters, being able to move them tactically, that kind of stuff. It's actually been a bit of a challenge, but we're in the middle of doing the prototypes for the console right now, and it's really promising. The nice thing is that it looks more complex than it is. When you actually go hands-on and play the game, it's very simple to move between characters, to jump around and set up your targets. And we also have a very, very advanced tactics system that lets you say, in this event, I want you to behave this way. You're really hurt. I want you to drink a healing potion. With that level of control open to the player, essentially the full AI exposed, we can take out a lot of the micromanagement that otherwise would just leave your controller kind of a slag of heat as you try to do it all. Instead, you can set up tactics ahead of time. If you want, you can dig in and go moment to moment and say, do this, then this, then this. And that actually really helps a lot as well. Dragon Age Origins is coming out this fall for the Xbox 360, PS3, and the PC.
Come to me then. We shall make this last night together something to remember.